Okay. Welcome to the April 7th, 2020 Board of Commissioner meetings. Please silence your cell phone, pagers, and other electronic communication devices. Agendas are located at the back of the chambers. The Commission now utilizes speaker request forms. If you'd like to speak on an item, please complete a speaker request form located in the back of the chambers and return it to Ms. Hawley, located at the lower right side of the dais. Be our left-hand side, though. First, we'll have a moment of silent reflection and pledge of allegiance led by John Morrell, our HR director, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, we'll have the review and approval of the agenda.
So move.
Motion by Drews.
Second.
Second by LaCroix. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Next, we'll have the 2020 Board of Equalization Oath of Office, Ms. Cindy Muller. We're just going to repeat after Ms. Cindy. All right. We all need to stand up.
We'll just read them.
Stand up.
Yeah.
Good morning, Commissioners. Cindy Moeller, Pennington County Auditor. Commissioner Drews said that you guys could just go ahead and read that in unison, so you all have your copy in front of you. We'll just have you take your oath of office, please.
We just start reading. Ted Hadcock, a member
Board of Equalization for Pennington
County
County
in the state of South Dakota for the year 2020.
being
First duly
sworn,
Depose and say that I will fairly and impartially perform the duties as a member of the Board of Equalization
for
the county and state,
that
I will endeavor to
equalize the assessment of all real property within the county.
that
I will seek to place upon the books of the tax jurisdiction within the county any property that may have been omitted by error or neglect of the assessor or Board of Equalization.
I will
I will
faithfully and impartially perform all other acts
enjoined on me by law,
to the end of all the assessments within the above county may be complete and just and equal as between the property holders.
Thank you.
Thank
If you'll sign those, I'll gather them up from you after the
Thank
meeting.
you. We're not a very unison group when we say stuff together. Next, we'll have the consent agenda by Ms. Hawley, please, 6 through 13.
Good morning, Commissioners. For public notice, the Board of Commissioners uses a consent agenda to act on non-controversial and routine items. The consent agenda is acted upon by one motion and a vote of the Board. Items may be removed from the consent agenda and placed on the regular agenda at the request of a board member or a citizen. Today's consent agenda contains the following items: approval of the minutes from the regular meeting of March 17th, 2020, approval of the minutes from the special meetings of March 21st and March 27th, 2020. Number 8 is to acknowledge the resolution for a minor adjustment to road district boundaries of the Woodland Court Road District, as presented by the auditor. Number 9 is to approve of the revised joint powers agreement between Pennington County, the City of Rapid City, and the South Dakota Department of Public Safety for radio dispatch services. Number 10 is to declare 6 vehicles as presented as surplus property for the purpose of trading them in conjunction with the new vehicle purchase. Units to be surplused are number 300, 500, 501, 503, 54, and 72, and that is submitted by the Sheriff's Office. Number 11 is approval of the joint powers agreement regarding the operation of the Unified Narcotics Enforcement Team as submitted by the Sheriff's Office. Number 12 is approval of the amendment to the joint powers agreement with Pennington County and the City of Box Elder as submitted by the State's Attorney's Office. And finally, number 13 is approval of the joint powers agreement for weed spraying services between the South Dakota Department of Transportation and Pennington County.
Thank you, Ms. Hawley. At this time, is there any members from the public who wish to remove any items from the consent agenda 6 through 13? At this time, does any commissioner wish to remove any items from the consent agenda 6 through 13? If not, do we have a motion, please?
Move approval of consent.
Moved by Drews.
Second.
Second by LaCroix. Discussion?
One piece of discussion.
Commissioner DeSanto.
Madam Chair, on number 9, we had come to the agreement that we were going to be doing 10%. Is that going to be included in this share of our budget that's 495, 142, 47?
Kevin Carley, please.
Good morning, Kevin Carley, Director ESCC. Commissioner, what this updated JPA allows us to do is that we DPS agreed last year to fund 3 more FTEs, so this actually allows them to pay us more money. We cleaned up some language from the original agreement from 2015. There were some conflicts in some of the language in some of the sections. We took care of this, and this allows them to fund those 3 additional FTEs. So that will actually be an increase in money for us.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. So we do have a motion on the floor. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 14. Items from auditor.
Good morning again, Commissioners. Cindy Moeller, Pennington County Auditor. Before you, we have the transfer of the retail on-off sale malt beverage and South Dakota wine license from Johnson Siding General Store owners R Gas and More LLC to Austin E. Dahl. We would just ask approval for that transfer.
Is there a motion, please?
Move to approve.
Moved by Ross Connect,
Second.
second by Drews. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Cindy. 15 is items from emergency management. Dustin Willett.
I'll table it.
So can we table this?
Move to table.
Second.
Moved by DeSanto, second by LaCroix to table. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 16 is items from Highway Department, please.
Good morning, Commission. Joe Miller, Pennington County Highway. Gotta find my notes here. This is just an FYI update more than anything. Last week on Wednesday, April 1st, the South Dakota DOT opened bids for our Shared Lake Road project, finally, 12 years in the making. So it's a very big day for us at the Highway Department, and we're very pleased with how the bids come in. Just a quick overview of this project. I know many of you are familiar with the project. It's 11.59 miles in length from Highway 385 to Alberta Drive. As I said, we had the bid letting last Wednesday. The apparent low bidder came in $4.1 million under the South Dakota DOT's budget or estimate of $27 million. The low bidder is, or the apparent low bidder is Off-Dahl Construction from Miles City, Montana, with a bid of $22,871,427.33. So this is very good news for our revenue or for our reserves. So that takes our total reserve dollars down from that from $11 million needed to $7,722,157.09. That'll be coming out of our reserves, roughly, probably half this year and half next year, or a little 40-60. It all depends on how much work they get done. The DOT is administering the project, so they'll bill us at the end. Construction is proposed to begin this May 2020. Fieldwork completion date is July 1, 2022. The construction seasons for this project are defined as follows. So this year in 2020, from May, the end date is November 13th, 2020. Basically, there would be no work allowed after November 13th without approval. As you can see on your screen here, the first construction phase will be this one here from Alberta Drive to Victoria Lake Road. We put in the contract that they must get to Norseman here with this first construction season. So that must be completed, and then anything after that can be completed the following year. 2021 construction season is going to begin on March 1st, 2021, and then ending November 19th, 2021. So again, that's without approval of the DOT, the project administers. Excuse me. And then 2022, just kind of a half construction season to clean up any odds and ends that may be needed, seeding, final grading, touch-up stuff, things of that nature. Beginning February 28th and then ending July. July 1st, 2022. Sorry. So it's, as you can see here, it's broken into 4 different phases. There's the phase 1 includes full reconstruction from 385 to about a tenth of a mile northeast of Mountain Park Road, or more commonly referred to as Biker Bob's Corner. Contractor may complete this phase at any time, but they can only work in this. They must complete it within 1 construction season. So we've gotten an agreement with the Forest Service to allow us to close the road from 385 to Taylor Ranch Road. Basically close it down to all traffic and saved about $250,000 not having to maintain traffic through that portion. But the agreement with the Forest Service, we can only have it closed for 1 season because they've got Dakota Point and a couple other trailheads in that area. Phase 2 and then phase 1 is from 385 there on your far left of the screen. Includes a lot of dirt moving, a lot of cut and fill. Most of you are familiar with the area, and they're going straight through a big hill and filling straightening out the road and filling in some couple of deep draws. So phase 2 goes from Biker Bob's Corner to Boulder Hill Road. That's just an asphalt overlay. And then phase 3 is a full reconstruction from Boulder Hill Road to Norseman Lane. And then phase 4 is from Norseman to Alberta Drive. With that, I will stand for any questions.
Board, any questions?
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Roskinek.
do you know what when they bypass the curvy part of Sharon Lake Road from Biker Bob's to 385, where they totally rebuild or totally build the new road, what happens to the existing road, you know?
It'll be obliterated and reseeded, basically. The roadbed will probably remain, but the gravel surface and the asphalt surface will be obliterated and incorporated into the new road. The asphalt millings will be milled into the gravel base.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Madam Chair.
Commissioner LaCroix?
Well, this has been a long time coming, and I really appreciate that the bids came in quite a bit lower at this time of the year. And we appreciate the Highway Department's diligence on keeping up on this and going forward on this. You guys did an amazing job. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Joe.
All right.
Have a question?
Nope.
Just behind
Just
you.
to give you an update what we're doing with the trees on the Forest Service end of it on the west end. Originally, we wanted to run it through our stewardship agreement. Due to timing and try to get it out as fast as we can, they're actually doing a direct sale with us to the county at a little under $10 a CCF. So to buy the trees from basically the Reeder Ranch west of 385, it's going to cost a little over $9,000. And then what we'll do is we'll turn around and we'll sell those trees, go out for bid on them. We got a number of people that are interested in doing it, and that's the 100-foot clear cut from center on that realignment. We'll sell the merchantable, and then as far as doing the brush removal and stuff within that 100-foot clear cut, we may look at doing it in-house or else going out for bid on that too, depending how fast that contractor gets in on that west end. So,
What's your name?
oh, sorry, my name's Scott Guffey, Pennington County Natural Resources Director. And then we're still on track on doing the fuel break, the 300-foot on each side. We're just going to have to wait on that. The priority is to get those trees out of the way so the construction will be done.
Thank you, Scott. Any questions for Scott?
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Scott.
I just got one more for Joe. Joe, so the Sharon Lake Road, when that's all complete, the it's supposed to be designed for 50 miles an hour. Is that, I heard that at one of the meetings.
I believe so, but I don't know for positive. I would have to get back to you on that. I believe it's designed.
Seems that.
Mark, do you remember?
Yes, 50 mile an hour.
Okay.
So.
Going to be a little different once that thing's complete.
Yes, absolutely. It'll be a much safer road, both for our snowplows and the traveling public. There's some treacherous curves once you get to the west end there, and Mark can probably speak to that. He tells a story often about doing deep patches out there, and it's only 21 foot wide.
Yeah.
So
there's one part 19 foot wide right now.
Wow.
I've heard both. You know, I've heard the folks that like to ride their motorcycles, and they're going to miss the curves, and then the folks that are in a hurry to go from Rapid Hill City, they're gonna like the straightaways. So it's a mix. I'm
a motorcycle rider, and those curves, while they're fun, it'll be a much safer road for everybody. So it'll still be a fun road.
Joe, can you give me that actual figure again on the reserve, the $7 million?
It's $7,722,157.09.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Yep.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you you and Mark for all you guys do for us. We appreciate it. And the snowstorm as well, when the roads were really icy and stuff. We appreciated your crew.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll have items from the chair and commission members. Just an update. We had a department head yesterday. We did talk about the hire freeze, the travel restriction for personal and departments, the telecommunication policy that we will be looking at on Friday, the 10% cut of all departments. We did have them do that. Friday, we will not be voting on the 10% cut yet because we're going to give them time. We'll be doing it the following Friday, just so they have time to make their cuts. And I think, Holly, did I miss anything on the department head meeting? Okay, thank you. Oh, we also said because of COVID-19, we want to make sure each department can cover their departments in case their employees end up being sick, to do the what if. A lot of their employees are out. What are they going to do if they lose a bunch of their employees based on COVID-19? So they are doing the what if on that as well, just to get them prepared for what could or should or might. So thank you. Commissioner DeSanto?
At this time, no committee reports because all of my committees were canceled.
Yep. Commissioner Roskinicht?
Pennington County Council of Aging, we haven't met, but we have through email. We've facilitated a new range and stove to go in the Minna-Lucian Center, which was they feel with this pandemic there's going to be a greater need, for Meals on Wheels, and so we got that done. Just being safe and not meeting in person and doing everything via email. Other than that, same with Mark, no meetings.
Thank you. I forgot one thing. When we do the cuts, we are doing the unmandated cuts at 10% as well. So the unmandated understand that they are part of this, the fairgrounds and a couple others. We don't have a lot of unmandated, but we do have some. So me and Gary have been in tons of meetings with different things to do with what we just talked about earlier. So the last 2 weeks, I think we've lived here at the EOC, or the community EOC, the county building, working with Holly. Thank you, Holly and Joan and some of the department heads to come up with some of those solutions that we're coming up with. So we have been very transparent, and thank you, board, with the departments to make sure that they know what's coming next and how to plan. So we will keep doing that because that's what our best there at Pennington County is, giving people a heads up instead of just surprising them with what this board believes. So thank you all as board members as well for that, because we're trying to work together to find solutions for Pennington County, and without you guys, we couldn't do it. So,
Madam Chair.
Yes, sir.
I did forget one thing about the fairgrounds. We had the fairgrounds hosted Feeding America last Saturday, I believe it was, and had a pretty amazing turnout, but not nearly as much as we had expected. We were left with, I think they showed up with 21 pallets of dry goods, 21 pallets of produce and milk, and we only went through about half of it. So Maybe they'll be holding another one, I'm not sure. The one thing that I would like to tell the public is if you're coming out to pick up food, please empty your trunks before you get there, because we made it so that nobody got out of their cars. They popped their trunks before they got to us, and then we loaded it in their trunks. And it was amazing how many people showed up with full trunks, and we had no place to put their boxes. So if we do it again, clean out your trunks before you come in to pick up your food.
Just food for thought on that. A lot of people that actually need that food might not have transportation to end up being able to come there. So maybe in the future, maybe people could do deliveries, like put it on their doorsteps or something, because like I tell people, a lot of times when you don't have the money for food, you probably don't have the transportation or the gas to get there. That sounds kind of strange for some people, but maybe they could do something where they can do some deliveries to people that can't, like elderly or otherwise.
What they did to address that is they were allowing per car 2 families per car. So we wrote a 1 on the door, on the window if there was only 1 family that was picking up. Wrote a 2 on the window if there were 2 families picking up, and there was probably 1 or 2 that had 3 families. So we kind of did address if somebody couldn't get a ride, they got a ride with somebody else, and they came. But I think that's not a bad idea. And frankly, I would say we probably had pretty close to 45, 50 volunteers out there. So if those same volunteers could do deliveries, we could probably knock out quite a few families.
Yeah, especially the elderly right now. They're not going to come out of their homes and stuff to go even in somebody's car. So just food for thought. Thank you. Gary?
Well, things I've been doing the last 6 weeks, as well as the rest of the commission too. I don't remember seeing that on the job description when I ran for this spot. But certainly been a learning experience. It's been really pretty enjoyable working with all the department heads and so forth. Everybody has come forward and continue to provide all the county services. And we recognize too that our revenue stream is not going to be there for paying what we normally would have budgeted for, and so we have to reconsider that at this point in time. But it's an education. So I have not had any other meetings. I have one coming up with Elevate later this week, and I think that's all going to be by teleconference or Zoom.
Thank you, Gary. And Gary has been amazing with the counties and some of the legislation and keeping track of the governor and some of the things that we had him from the start doing, but he's been above and beyond with some of the other areas. And then meetings I couldn't go to at the city for the mayor's 10 o'clock or the 1:30s, he's been there. So he's been working very hard as well. And what was I going to say? I forgot, but I'll remember after Lloyd. Okay, Lloyd, sorry.
Well, I'm probably like most, haven't had many meetings, but what I want to share is, it's been a tough couple of days for me. Working through a lot of the negativity that's in our community is a struggle. So I just wanted to share some positive notes. This commission from the very beginning, our community is doing an outstanding job of working together, following the CDC guidelines, recommendation, people stepping up. I had the opportunity to stop at Three Forks this weekend, and I appreciate Ron Ross Connects advertising what our businesses are doing to help our community. I mean, limiting the number of people into the stores, trying to provide some service, a little bit of normalcy for the people. And these employers are working hard to try to keep some of their employees going and keep some normalcy for the people. But, what I struggle with is having to defend what's going on in our community. I think there's a lot of misunderstanding. After every press conference, one person hears a certain thing a certain way, and you have to go back and you have to relook at it and go, this is an executive order. This is a suggestion, a powerful suggestion. The county is different from the city. The cities has, I support what the city did. I really do. They have different circumstances than the county does. I mean, we have a smaller number of people out in the community in the spread out area. The city is more confined with more people, more restaurants, that type of thing. So what they did was protection. But it's a real struggle when you hear, and the mayor did a good job. There's quite a few different groups of people that think of what's going on. And we as commissioners have to look at not just tomorrow, but 5 years out. And that's what the struggle is explaining to some people that what happens, even with us in the city, with your budgets. Take a good look at your own budgets. I shouldn't have to come to work because of this. I'm afraid. Stay home. But then I need to get paid. So how's that business supposed to, some businesses have stepped up and said, I will pay you for a couple of weeks or as long as we can. Kudos to them. Kudos. But what happens when their reserves get depleted? They're doing their best to help their employees out. And to blame them and shame them for trying to do something for the community, trying to keep some people working, it's a real struggle. This comes home to me every night. Every night I call it a briefing with my wife. The calls she gets from people saying, you guys don't care, I didn't think, I got to stop.
Okay, Lloyd.
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
I applaud the commission for taking all these negative comments that we get. We don't get a lot, but we get them, and we don't just sit there and shove them in a dark closet. We answer emails, we answer phone calls. They might not like some of the decisions that we make, but at least we got the I'm trying to find the right word here. We got the courage to return these phone calls and let people know that we do care. We're just human beings, and we're doing the best we can under the circumstances. There is no manual out there on how we're supposed to handle this event. We're just doing the best we can, and anyhow, I think we're doing a good job with the tools that we got to work with.
Lloyd, thank you for sharing, because I don't think it's just Lloyd. I think it's many people in our community. And it does make you sad. It makes you sad that you're working as hard as we can to figure this out. And I'll keep saying you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. And I think you feel that sometimes. And when you get too much negative and then you're trying to save people, it hurts a bit when people are saying something negative. So totally understand. Let's go ahead and take 5 minutes if we could, and then be back at 25 till. Thank you. Need a motion to that? Yeah. You have a motion for 5 minutes?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Next on the agenda is 17A, the proposed public comment policy. And that'd be 17A. Have a motion or discussion, or Holly, would you like to talk about that?
Does she want to read it?
What's that?
Does she want to read it in the public?
Yes, that would be good.
Okay, Commissioners, for your consideration is a proposed policy for public comments. It's basically what we practice now with just a little bit of adjustments due to the COVID-19 pandemic. But the policy reads as such: in order to help keep the public and staff safe due to the current COVID-19 pandemic, the public may submit their comments online utilizing the county website for public meetings. Due to social distancing protocol, seating is extremely limited in the commission chambers. Please visit www.penco.org to submit your comments online. The deadlines that have been set for Board of Commissioners would be 3:30 the day before the meeting, which would give the board a chance the night before to read them. And then for Planning Commission would be 3:30 p.m. the Friday before the Monday meeting. The difference for this would be the specific items of note. We placed a 6,000 character limit on the online public comment form. Late submittals and anonymous submissions will not be added. All comments received will be read publicly into the record during the meeting. Members of the public can still attend the meetings in person and can still submit a paper speaker request form prior to the start of the day's meeting. As always, they can continue to call, email directly, or provide their comments in person. This online method has always been available, but it's not widely utilized.
Thank you, Ms. Holly. I know, if I'm correct, Gary, that they are not reading all the public comment at the city council meeting, but they are taking it and then making sure that each commissioner has the public comment agenda, basically reading it before the meeting. So, am I correct?
Yes,
Because
that's what they said.
the other night they had over 80 or 100 and it took 2 hours just to read the public comment.
Okay.
So, just something, I don't know, Jay, can we do what the city's doing and make sure all the commissioners got the public comment? Do we have to read legally all of those out loud?
Jay Alderman with the State's Attorney's Office. I suppose, the average person sending in an email would like to know for sure that you know of their email that they submitted. And so one way of ensuring that is for them to be able to hear over the phone you actually reading it and listening to it, all five of you together. On the other hand, we are in uncharted territory, and if we're making it available, I guess I would suggest that we trust our commissioners. They will receive it. They will review it, and in a time-saving manner. You can even mention the fact that you got X number of emails and appreciated that, and you've shared them, you've considered them, and then move on with the agenda item that is pertinent to that set of emails or whatever.
So do we have to?
The city apparently is doing that. Last I knew they were reading them, but it's news to me to hear that they're not now because of the volume, and I get that too. So I think do the best you can under the circumstances, and I think this is a fair way to do that, and we move forward.
Okay.
Madam
Thank you.
Chair,
Commissioner LeCroy.
just a comment on that. If I remember right, I watched both meetings, and you're right. That one went for 2.5 hours, and I think they stopped after about 2.5 hours. There was because they kept coming in as they were going, and a lot of them started repeating some of the same stuff, and that's why they just stopped it. I think this last meeting they had 8 that were sent in. So I think it'll probably be Commission's choice at the time to how many there is, how many can get read if they're repeated. I think we got to take it case by case.
Madam Chair,
Commissioner DeSanto.
I think it'd be prudent just to ask the public now that if they're going to write in a public comment, to please stick to what is on the agenda and make their point as to what's on the agenda. If it's not on the agenda, then please keep your comments very short so that we are not here all day reading comments.
Yeah, absolutely. And the mere acknowledgement by the commission that we've received emails and appreciate it, and we've considered them and reviewed them, and we're prepared to move on with the agenda. That's doing your due diligence and balancing everyone's wishes.
So can we put all comments received will be read by the commission, and have an option or something to, like I said, if you're getting 80, it makes sense also that they wouldn't have took the ones coming in because we put that on our agenda. But if you're having that many comments on certain areas, I think there should be some kind of clause that says we can or can't.
Okay.
Meaning that the commission will read all of them, however you say that nicely, Holly, and trust that. I don't know if any of the other commissioners, I'll speak for myself, I read all the comments. In fact, I've been getting, like I said, American mailbox people saying they believe that we should keep our campgrounds open for them. So I don't think I've talked to all of you, and that's 8 or 10 comments right there, and they're all saying the same thing, of course. Somebody put their process up there meaning everything they talked about on the first email was the same email 10 times, so.
I think if the board wishes to approve the policy with an amendment to just state that all comments will be received by will be reviewed by the commission and may be read publicly depending on amount received
I like that.
and will be acknowledged
Okay.
in some fashion.
Okay.
I would just simply say,
Yep.
all comments received would be provided to each commissioner. Period.
So is that your amendment?
That's my amendment.
Okay, we have amendment. Do we have a second?
What was the amendment again, Gary?
All comments received would be provided to each commissioner, period.
I'll second that.
Just one, Madam Chair.
Commissioner LaCroy?
I'm okay with that as long as leadership reviews it. If there is time, they could all be read. If not, at least we know that each one's going to get it.
Yep. I appreciate that, and I think that if we have something pertinent that Mark says, okay, I saw this in public comment, he's going to read it. Or if Gary says something pertinent to whatever we're talking about, that way too they know, that it's something from the agenda instead of, and some are just, you already know, our blessings and things like that. We can read them if we want, but they will be received by us, and if we will determine if you guys decide in certain areas that you want to read them, I don't think that is a problem. Anybody have a problem with that? Okay. So we have a first and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Next, we need to dissolve,
Yeah, Madam Chair, if the board would take item 15 off of the table, please.
So moved.
moved by LaCroy,
Second.
second by Drews to take items for emergency management off the table. And then all in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carries. We will dissolve of this item, or basically, at this time, Dustin cannot make it, so we'll just
This item isn't needed today.
I'd move to dispose of item 15.
move to dispose or postpone indefinitely by LaCroy,
Second.
Second.
second by Drews. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. 18 committee reports. I think we went through unless we missed anybody. Okay, number 19 is approval of vouchers.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by DeSantos, second by LaCroy. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 20 is to go in executive session, SDCL 1-25-2-1, and contractual litigation for SDCL 1-25-2-3. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Motion to go in.
Sorry. In favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 21 is items from planning. Hey, we timed that good, didn't we? Whoops. Lisa.
Runaway coffee cup.
I'll bring this down. Item 20 is first reading and public hearing, Brittany Molitor, Interim Planning Director. Item 21A is first reading and public hearing of Major Plan Unit Development Amendment, PU 20-01 for Dennis Tushin. This is just on the agenda in case there is anyone here for public comment. It was continued at the Planning Commission level in order for the in order for the State's Attorney's Office to make a recommendation to the Planning Commission regarding his concerns over the Plan Unit Development statement for single-family residences and vacation home rentals.
Okay, Ms. Brittany.
So we
Brittany,
just
do
need
you
to
know
see
if
if
that
anyone's
was
here.
State's Attorney's Office.
I have spoken to Michelle about it. She is going to write a memo and make a recommendation, a legal recommendation to the Planning Commission at their next meeting.
So this is a continuance?
Yes, it is a continuance. It's just that it was advertised,
Okay.
so it couldn't be on the consent agenda in case there was anyone in the audience that wished to speak on it.
Ms. Holly, do we have any comments by chance? Okay, and there's no one in the audience today. All right, so motion to continue to May 5th.
So moved.
Moved
Second.
by DeSanto, second by Roskinick. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carries. Item B, please. And there is a person that's calling in, Ms. Hall, for item B. Ms. Joan?
Mr. Compass, can you hear us?
Yes.
What's his name, sir, or ma'am?
Mr. Compass.
Compass, KO1.
Compass. Thank you. All right, Mr. Compass, we're going to let Brittany do her presentation. Maybe not Brittany, Jason, do his
Cody.
presentation. Cody. Jeez. Okay.
Cody Sack, environmental
We've
planner.
got 3 different presentations, just kidding. Cody's going to do his presentation, and then we'll have you fill in on some of your comments, sir.
Item B is layout plan LPL 20-04. It's to combine lots to create lot 1R of Chase Elkhorn subdivision. The applicant is Dick Compass. As the lots currently sit, it's 2 individual lots being combined into one. One's zoned limited agriculture district and one's zoned suburban residential. Both have 100-year floodplain on them. The proposed lot will be lot 1R of Chase Elkhorn subdivision. It will be 7.88 acres. It will have special flood hazard area on it. A rezone and a comprehensive plan amendment will be required to prevent dual zoning. So he'll have to do one of the lots. He'll have to rezone one of the lots. Staff has talked to him about it, and he's considering which route he wants to go. This was routed around through the departments, and no issues came back with it. There is an existing access to the property, so an approach permit would not be required. Percolation test and profile hole will not be required at this time either, because there's currently an on-site wastewater treatment system on the lot. When it's created, there's a single-family residence there. For the purpose of the layout plan, staff finds no significant issues with the applicant's request. So staff is recommending approval of layout plan LPL 20-03 with 8 conditions.
Thank you. Mr. Compass, do you have any comments on this, sir?
Well, not really. I guess we're going to go ahead with it. It's been a lot of red tape, but I guess we want to go ahead with it.
Okay.
Madam Chair,
Commissioner?
move to approve.
Moved by Roskinick to approve.
Second.
Second by LaCroy. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, motion carries. So you are good, Mr. Compass. Everybody agreed.
No more red tape.
Okay, thank you.
Have a good day, sir. Thanks for calling in.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. Item C, Christina.
Good morning, Christina Proetti, planner.
You're not Brittany?
I'm ready.
I'm teasing you. Miss Christina.
All right, item C is layout plan 20-05. On February 19th, 2020, the applicant Rustler's Ranch requested to plat approximately 10 acres of the subject property to create Tract A of Rustler's Ranch Addition, leaving a remaining unplatted balance of approximately 59.82 acres. The subject property is currently zoned as limited agriculture district. If approved, the property's current zoning of limited agricultural district would satisfy the proposed 10-acre tract. There is no special flood hazard area on the subject property. The proposed land use would be for a single-family residence, which was indicated on the layout plan application. Structures currently permitted on the subject property are a single-family residence built in 1975, an 8 by 12 guest cottage on skids, so no building permit was required for that one. In addition to the single-family residence, there's a detached garage with a loft. They do have an on-site wastewater treatment system and an operating permit that currently needs to be obtained from them. The proposed lot is able to gain access from the existing access easement granted from the U.S. Forest Service. Staff did route this through interdepartmental review, and there were no items of concern for this item. So staff is recommending approval with conditions.
Do we have a motion to approve with 11 conditions?
I'll move to approve.
Motion by Roskinick,
Second for discussion.
second by LaCroy. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, motion carries. Item D.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brittany Molitor again. Item D is the public hearing for the amendment of the Pennington County Comprehensive Plan, Pennington County View to 2040, and this is to amend and supersede the Pennington County's existing comprehensive plan. This was heard in front of the Planning Commission on March 23rd, and they did have three proposed changes. Actually, they had 2 proposed changes and 1 comment. Planning Commissioner Lassiter had a question under page 7.2 under the wastewater section. He felt that comment through section 204J, all on-site wastewater treatment systems are required to obtain an operating permit showing the system does not have an adverse impact upon public health and the environment. He was questioning whether that needed to be included in that section because he felt that was too restrictive, that a comprehensive plan is supposed to be broad in its recommendations and not be specific to an actual requirement that is better suited in a zoning ordinance. The rest of the Planning Commission did concur with his concern and wanted to ask the Board of Commissioners what they felt as far as that comment and leaving it in the comprehensive plan.
Madam Chair,
Commissioner DeSanto.
I would concur as well that does not need to be in there, that it is too restrictive.
Okay. Do we have to make a motion or we leave it as is?
Yes, it would be a motion to strike that sentence from the comprehensive plan. And just be reminded that this is the hearing on the comprehensive plan. So whatever changes will be final and that's what will be published.
I would make that motion to strike that sentence
Then a
from
motion
section 204J.
by DeSanto,
Second.
second by LaCroy. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries.
And then the second one was under section 8.1, recreation, open space, and tourism element on page 8.7. I'm going to get to that here.
8.7.
Eight seven is page 7 on 8?
8.7.
Yeah, 8-7.
Okay.
They had recommended to change the first line to read trails and then add such as those in the Black Elk Wilderness and Norbeck Wildlife Preserve leading to Black Elk Peak.
Where are you at, Brittany? Goals and policies, you're on the third.
Trails and golf courses, it's that
Okay.
first sentence.
Sorry.
They want it to read, the Black Hills National Forest contains over 450 miles of world-class hiking, biking, and running trails, such as those in the Black Elk Wilderness and Norbeck Wildlife Preserve leading to Black Elk Peak.
Move for approval.
Second.
Moved by DeSanto, second by Ross Connect. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
And then the last one was on page 10-5. Under goal NCR-5, they had recommended to remove fiscally possible because they felt that was redundant with financially feasible.
Which one's that, Brittany?
NCR 5, 2, or 3, or 4?
Or it's NCR-5. It's the goal, mining operations
goals.
in Pennington County.
Just the top one, the overall in the brown box?
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so read that again, Brittany.
So they would prefer it to read, mining operations in Pennington County will be reclaimed in a legally permissible, financially feasible, and maximally productive manner according to best practices designed to restore the site to an appropriate land use. They were recommending to remove fiscally possible, but leave financially feasible. They felt that it was redundant and that said the same thing.
To fiscal.
You know, I gave them that criteria right out of the appraisal manual. That's what appraisers worldwide. That's what we use. But you know, if they want to change it,
I mean, that was their recommendation to you.
Madam Chair, I would agree that it is redundant, don't you think, Ron?
I said legally permissible, financially feasible, they got fiscally. Fiscally, I don't see where we need that. That's not.
That's what they're saying.
Right, that's what they're.
Oh, okay. I thought you
The
said
fiscally-
I thought you said
no.
physical, excuse me.
No, fiscally possible.
yeah, you're
But
right.
be financially feasible.
I agree with that.
Okay, do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Move to approve.
By
Or
DeSanto,
second.
second by Roskinek. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries.
All right, and that is our new
Get the memo.
comprehensive plan.
Anybody have any changes or
Good work.
anything? From that, okay.
So we need to approve the whole thing with changes or just the changes?
You need to ask for public comment.
Yes, and you probably need to ask for public comment.
Do we have any public comment today? Anybody on the phone, Joan?
I'm aware of Mr. Dan Richer sent
Right.
comments to Mr. Roskinek that he wanted read into the record today.
Dan texted me and he said he'd like to have this for the record. His recommendation was for the commission not to make any recommendations. So now it's been of record.
Okay, thank you.
I do think that we should make an overall motion to approve the comprehensive plan with those three
So
changes.
this is the final.
This is the final.
Okay, do we have a motion to that effect?
Move for approval.
Moved by LaCroy. Second by Hadcock to approve the three changes to the comprehensive plan and improve the overall
Correct.
comprehensive plan.
Yes.
Okay. Any comments? All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Brittany. Thank you for you and your staff's hard work on this. You've been doing a great job. Items from the public? You guys would be the public. Not? Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Just a minute, Bill. Do we not have another? John, do we have a motion that we need to?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
We do. From executive session.
Oh,
Good catch, Gary.
I rescind my motion to adjourn.
okay, been rescinded. We do have an executive session motion that came out of executive session.
I was busy
John?
reading my mail. Sorry. John Morrow, Pennington County Human Resources. So I'd like to suggest the following motion to place Public Defender Eric Witcher at grade 26, step 21 for a biweekly rate of $43.15 and 20 cents, effective with pay period beginning May 17th, 2020.
We have a motion.
So move.
Moved by Drews,
Second.
second by DeSanto. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Okay. Adjourn. DeSanto?
Sure, I'll move to
Second
adjourn
by
again.
LaCroy.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carries.
Call that lady back then. Let her know what this guy was doing.
Okay, Holly.